the ace of the Miami Marlins, Sandy Alcantara, just called out his own fan base. So that kind of gives you an idea of what things are like in Miami when it comes to baseball outside of the World Baseball Classic.
Fans is not here, but we still love them.
I would understand if people were to say, hey, it's 1 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock, it's a school day, people are at school. And while I would agree with that, and typically I'd 1000% be behind that sentiment, the reality is that even in games where we have the opportunity, the attendance still doesn't live up to what it should be. Lone Depot Park sits 37,442 seats. Put this into perspective for a second. Imagine, right, of 37,442 seats, 6,000 get filled. Imagine the emptiness in that stadium. That's what Sandy Alcantara felt. That's what he felt pitching a complete game of Maddox, right? This is a guy who he completed an incredible feat in baseball, and yet here we are. Yet only 6,000, 1/6 of the capacity showed up. In my opinion, that is unacceptable. And look, again, even if you think, hey, it's a school day, it's this, it's that, I don't want to hear that because I've seen a bunch of fan bases, I've seen a bunch of other MLB fan bases fill up at least over 10,000 or maybe 15,000 on those school days. So maybe it's not that it's a school day. Maybe it's that your product for the last 20 plus years is trash, and now we need to figure out how we can get people to come to the games. And what Sandy Alcantara did right there is 1000% in line. I completely stand by what Sandy said because, yes, he's pitching in front of nobody. He's probably frustrated. He probably wants to pitch in front of an opening day crowd every single game, but he can't because the fan base does not trust ownership. They don't. I decided to think of what's a great comparison to what the Marlins are going through, and immediately I thought to myself, let's look at the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers are third in attendance. This is a year where it's a down year. This is a year that we did not make the playoffs, and yet every single game we almost have over the capacity. That's the Florida Panthers we're talking about. This is hockey. Is Florida a hockey state? No, I don't think so, but guess what? It is now. Third in attendance. And furthermore, look at the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. The Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Mind you, this is a Florida team. They play in Tampa Bay. 20,259 people. The second and third most attended games this year are Florida teams, right? And the Florida Panthers are a South Florida-based team. So I have a question. If they can build their fan base, what makes you think we can't? And I know everybody's going to say, oh, well, what about the location of Marlins Park? It's located in Little Havana. It's located in a spot that's incredibly inconvenient. And look, I get it. Parking at Lone Depot Park is incredibly inconvenient. But what I will say is that to me isn't a fair excuse. And the reason why it isn't a fair excuse is quite simple. Look at last year's series against the Yankees. This was last year's Yankees series, right? Look how packed that stadium is. You're going to sit here and tell me we're not capable of doing this every other game? You want to sit here and tell me that against the Yankees we can do this, but we can't do this against the Dodgers? We can't do it against a team like the Mets? We can't do it against a team like the Braves? We can't do it? In my opinion, that is complete, utter bull jive. We are capable of packing a Marlins Park like this. But the truth is that you need to have a fan base that has your trust. I just finished mentioning the Florida Panthers, correct? I promise you, the jokes that were made about the Florida Panthers attendance, they were the same as the Marlins until the Florida Panthers actually got a good owner and a good GM and good ownership. And look what happened to them. You want to see the attendance before we went and started winning like this? You think the Panthers started off with a packed stadium? You think it was all sunshine and rainbows for the Florida Panthers when they first got here? It took some building. They couldn't crack over 15,000 fans a game for like the first 4 years of their franchise, which granted, it makes sense. Then you get a spike in 99 because they went to the Stanley Cup that year. But then look, They struggled. 14,000 in 01. Then you look at 2002, 16,000, 2003, 15,000. And they don't, like, after that Stanley Cup appearance, after the appearance, you notice that things started to look up a bit, right? You notice that things started to point ahead. Well, eventually they started going on a more of a drought. So the fan base started losing trust. And eventually you go from 14,000 all the way to 11,000. 11,000 fans. And then now look, throughout the entire 2010s, check out what happens. 15,000, 14,000, 13,000, 13,000, 14,000. We're not applicable for 2020 because COVID year, hello. But then 2022 happens. But then 2021, 2022 happens. Guess what? That's the year we won the President's Trophy, 14,000. The buzz starts. 2023, 16,000. 16,000 in attendance. This year, 2024, the year we won the Stanley Cup, 18,000. Then 2025, the team is now consistently good, 19,000. And then now 2026, the team's not even a playoff team. We're not even a playoff team. Look at the attendance. The highest attended regular season in Florida Panther history. They built the fan base, and now they can expect year after year to have solid numbers. Why? They built something, which is more than you could say that the Marlins did. This is the incredible part, is that people have this narrative that Miami and the Florida doesn't do baseball like that. And I've disagreed for the longest time because to start off the Florida Marlins, look at the attendance, 37,000, 33,000. And once it's established that this team sucks, look at the attendance drop from 33 to 23. That's a 10,000 fan drop off. Then it drops again to 21,000. Then we win the World Series. Our team is good enough to win the World Series in 1997. 29,000. The drop off from there to 98. Why? Because we got rid of everybody. 1998, 21,000. And we dipped back down to 16,000. Then we dipped to 15,000. It's 15,000 for 2 years. Then 10,000. 10,000 fans. 10,000 fans again in 2002. The next year, all of a sudden, we're winning all of a sudden. 16,000 fans, a jump up. And then the Marlins gained the trust of the fan base again, only for the fan base to be let down once again, trading everybody. 22,000 2004, 22,000 2005. And once the fan base realizes this ownership group did not care, they stopped showing up. 14,000, 8,000 fan drop off. Then 16,000, then 18,000, 18,000, 18,000. We're starting to move up. Then Marlins Park opens up. 2012, 27,000 people. 27,000. Then 19,000. This is the Giancarlo Stanton era. This is the era that brought people actually back into the ballpark. Right? Stanton, Fernandez, Yelich, Osuna. All these players. 20,000 every single game. 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. And you're going to sit here and tell me that this fan base did not care? No, they cared when the product was actually solid. They cared. They did. 27,000 filled up Marlins Park in the first year it opened. And then after they trade everybody, they did it again. 2018 happens, 10,000. 2019, 10,000. The COVID year happens, 7,000. A low that I cannot even think, I cannot even believe. 7,000. 11,000, 14,000, 13,000, 14,000. You guys get what I'm saying. This is a franchise that has completely, there is proof in the data that fans show up for, the Miami Marlins show up for good teams. In the early 2010s, you saw it. The teams weren't even playoff teams. But guess what? People showed up. Why? Because they brought guys like Giancarlo Stanton, guys like Jose Fernandez. These guys, they showed up. And then once they all threw it away, after 2017, you saw the drop. 10,000 fans. So I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, Miami does not care about baseball. We care about baseball. Just look at the World Baseball Classic. That tells you all you need to know. The final is in Miami for a reason. Marlins Park can be filled up. The reason it's not is because the team is not good enough. Ownership has not been good enough. And you have not sold to us anything. There's no proof right now. There's no proof that we can actually trust the Miami Marlins. None. So Sandy Alcantara has every right to say, hey, fans aren't here, but it's whatever. But at the end of the day, it's on ownership. It's on ownership. It's on the organization to build the trust back. We've seen it happen. Don't act like we haven't. We've seen it happen. And I think it can happen again. But that all depends on if this organization, if this franchise actually wants to commit to some of the players, to commit to the team that they have. We all make fun of the Marlins for their attendance, but I think the data shows that we do show up when the team is actually competitive, when the team is actually good. Only problem is, team's never good. And that's why Peter Bendix, Clayton McCullough, and the entire Marlins organization need to get together and start building a winning team so that this fan base can actually start to have life again. It's as simple as that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. On the road now to 200 subscribers. Thank you guys so much again for 100 subscribers. I appreciate it. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. Dale.